What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, I wanted to talk about something that honestly was pretty shocking today. I made a short on it earlier, but wanted to talk about it in a little bit more depth. Shaquille Leonard, what in the world? A lot of people, including people in the media, were completely shocked that Shaquille Leonard, not that he was out there, but to the capacity that he was out there, right? Shaquille on Wednesday on the first practice, I mean, this dude was, putting in a ton of work, right? He was doing work on 7-on-7s. He was doing work on the 11-on-11 periods, taking plays on those. And so, all that to say, it was shocking because Chris Ballard literally just came out yesterday to the media and talked about how we should pump the brakes on Leonard, right? And saying all these things about how he's not going to be cleared for contact and all that stuff. And then Leonard's out there doing all this work, and it's just like, wait, what? So just kind of an interesting situation, all things considered. And it kind of has you scratching your head a little bit, right? Like, what in the world, right? And so it was kind of interesting. We thought that Leonard would probably just do stuff with the individual drills and stuff like that, nothing with really contact. But the fact that he was out there, the quantity of his work, in kind of contrary to what Chris Ballard just recently said, was frankly pretty shocking in a lot of ways. And so when you think of Leonard, I mean, this should be encouraging, I would think, that the fact that Leonard's out there was able to handle it. And, he even made a remark and talked about how he feels way different than he did last year. Right. And, talking about how he had these, nerves and stuff, coming back into this. But wanted to kind of talk about that because first off, that's just shocking, right? This is definitely something we did not expect to see and to hear today. Is that Shaquille Leonard was putting in work on the 7-on-7, certainly the 11-on-11 drills, but he played, and this is according to Kevin Bowen. He logged 2 plays with the starters before exiting for the rest of the session, which is 5 total plays, and so I mean that's just shocking in itself, right there, but. Yeah, it's just like it begs the question: is Shaquille Leonard maybe further along than a lot of us thought he was? Right, because the Colts have been nothing but cautious, right, when it comes to Shaq. If they hadn't said anything the entire spring and the summer leading up to training camp, we really didn't hear a whole lot. They were pretty sheepish on kind of giving details about Shaquille Leonard and kind of his injury update and stuff like that. So that was definitely very shocking that they did that, and that he came out and did what he did. And so that kind of makes me think like maybe Shaq's a little bit further along than they think he is, and they're kind of letting Shaq determine how much he does and how much he doesn't do. And so, maybe his injury, while it is serious, maybe Shaq has healed up a little bit quicker than we thought. I know a lot of people have still a little bit of PTSD when it came to the Andrew Luck situation. Now I understand why, because it was a similar situation in the fact that there was a significant injury. You just didn't have a lot of information. The Colts did what they did with the Shaquille Leonard injury, with the Andrew Luck one too. They just didn't say a whole lot when it came to this, and so I understand it from that standpoint. But honestly, from there, I think the comparisons have to stop for me, because you look at these two different players in Shaquille Leonard and Andrew Luck, and I think the big thing about it is the fact that Shaquille Leonard is a guy that is obsessed with football, right? He's a guy that's going to do everything that it would take, and he has. That's what Chris Ballard said. He has worked extremely hard to get to this point where he's at now and to get fully back. He's a type of guy that he lives and breathes football, right? And not to say Andrew Luck didn't love football, but after a certain time, he fell out of love with football because of all the injuries, all the stuff that had happened, all the mental toll that it took on him, if you remember, right? And so he's a guy that, if you looked at a couple of players on the roster at that point, he's a guy that, yeah, while it's shocking, you never expect a player to retire that early. Like him and Shaquille Leonard are just, they're not taken from the same cloth, if you will. They're not cut from the same cloth. Shaq lives, eats, and breathes football, and he's going to do everything that he can, despite having 2 back surgeries and less than a couple months apart from each other. Like he's going to do, and he has done everything to get back to where he is today. And so, he said things like, football is the only place in my life where the bad goes away. He called the field a safe haven on Wednesday. And so that's just something where, he is a guy that's going to push it as far as much as he's allowed to, up to the point where he, can. And so I think that's just kind of the difference between him and Andrew Luck. So for me, I was like, unless he just physically can't do it, which is just hard for me to see, he's going to try to be on the field and he's going to try to be, where he is. And so obviously we'll see, as the Colts don't have practice tomorrow, but they have practice back on Friday. I'll be out there. So it'll be fun to kind of see and get a little bit of a glimpse on Shaq Leonard from the sideline and kind of give my overall thoughts on that. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. Maybe Shaquille Leonard's a little further along than, we initially thought. And also, maybe he's just trying it out and just seeing how he feels. And then if he goes from there and he doesn't feel like he's quite ready, they go back to some individual drills. But definitely was very surprised when I heard that he was out there with the starting defense for, about half the snaps for each session of the 11 on 11s, and was out there for 7-on-7 stuff as well. So let me know, guys, what are your overall thoughts here on Shaquille Leonard going out there on the first day of training camp? Right? This is crazy. The first day of training camp, Shaq's out there. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that and everything else, guys. Like I said, training camp's in full swing. Derek's going to be having a video that's going to be coming out later tonight. He may be doing a live stream, maybe doing a video. Not entirely sure yet. I kind of have to connect with him and see what his overall thoughts are. But I just want to give you guys a quick update on Shaquille Leonard and kind of talk about this, because it is just an interesting talking point, an interesting kind of thing that I didn't think that we'd be discussing at this point today on the first day of practice. So thanks, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, guys, go Colts.